is breaking news.
Hey, we have breaking news into our newsroom tonight. A motorcyclist has died after a crash on East Lake Boulevard near I-580.
Yeah, that's right. The crash happened just after 5 o'clock north of Carson City. East Lake Boulevard is currently closed in both directions, so please avoid the area if you can. Certainly,
and we'll have more details on this crash on Channel 2 News at 7 and throughout the evening on our website, KTVN.com. Well, as you know, the drought has been devastating for the Lovelock Valley, but the farmers will have a full allotment of water this year.
That's right, and the renewed optimism is a far cry from just 2 years ago when there was no water at all to irrigate those fields. Paul Nelson shows us how the snow and the rain is affecting this northern Nevada town.
The Lovelock Valley is buzzing with excitement. Farmers are preparing some dusty fields for planting for the first time in 5 years, and the bright green crops are making the area look like itself again.
We're just getting water, so there's a lot of dirt work being done. There are some wheat fields that we got planted last fall that's green. Come back in the middle of June, you probably won't find a bare field.
Farmers only got a third of their water allotment last year after 2 years of no water at all. Workers were laid off and the local economy took a big hit, but the water is changing everything.
It creates jobs. We got guys coming in looking for work. We need more. Everyone's looking for labor.
A big reason for the optimism is the amount of water already in Rye Patch Reservoir. It's already more than halfway full, and as you can see, they're releasing water from the dam well before the spring runoff reaches here in May. But it is a balancing act. The plan is to release water at a rate so that the reservoir won't be completely full until the end of July.
Spilling water a little earlier than we normally would. We would rather spill a small amount of water for a longer period of time than spill a large amount of water for a short period of time.
The reservoir stores enough water to cover 200,000 acres with a foot of water used for the crops. These irrigation ditches were bone dry just 2 years ago, but now they carry the water that brings this valley to life.
Full water this year. We'll be farming wall to wall, all acres planted. Real excited.
The first fields got irrigated 2 weeks ago, and the water year is expected to last until November. That's doing wonders for the morale around town.
The fields are green, the valley's green, everybody's in a lot better mood. You could tell a big difference in the drought years. It was depressing around here, it really was.
Farmers are confident this will be a good year, and they say the additional water storage means next year should be too. Covering the story in Lovelock, Paul Nelson, Channel 2 News.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's first look at the Pinpoint 2 forecast.
We've had variable amounts of cloudiness off and on throughout the day. We're actually starting to break up temporarily after one band just passed through over the last hour or two. Could have put some light sprinkles down, although not right here at the TV station. The radar was picking up a little bit out there. If we look at the satellite picture, you can see what's going on. We finally collapsed a little bit of that big ridge of high pressure, and we're getting a very, very fast moving kind of spring-like storm to kind of come into the area. Now, the band here that passed over us, you can see, is already about 40, 50 miles off there to the east of us. This is the frontal band here. It's got limited moisture in it, but there's a lot of cold air back behind it. So overnight tonight, I do expect to see at least some snow come up into the mountains. Even though right now snow levels are very high, they're going to drop down very quickly tomorrow, probably close to the valley floor. Although again, I don't expect valley accumulations out of it. So in terms of what we can expect here over the next little bit of time, by 10 o'clock, I think we're just going to have variable amounts of clouds here. We were warm today. We'll still be about 53 degrees at 10 o'clock, which is probably going to be warmer than we're going to be all day tomorrow. By the time the sun comes up, chance of some scattered showers of rain or snow, maybe some snow pellet showers here with some clouds again at 9 o'clock. And we're not going to warm things up very much tomorrow from the low of the day. We'll tell you more about that with a complete forecast update coming up here in a bit.
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, another community resource meeting is taking place right now for flood-affected Lemon Valley residents.
Elizabeth Olveda is live out at O'Brien Middle School right now with an update. What's going on out there, Elizabeth?
Well, that's right. The meeting is currently taking place in this auditorium right behind me. We were able to speak with Incident Commander Sam Hicks, who told us the main focus of tonight's meeting is to discuss the plans going forward.
We're just about winding down with the response mode of this incident. We have started into recovery mode.
Now, originally, Hicks' team was in charge of these efforts, but he says at this point the county will take over as the lead force going forward. And transitioning from response mode to recovery mode, like you just heard him say there, just means that life-saving and immediate relief efforts are pretty much complete at this point, and they're looking toward more permanent solutions. He wasn't able to tell us any of those immediate long-term solutions, as he says those will take some time to come up with. The HESCO barrier and the pumps that are currently in place will stay in place until that more permanent solution is set up, but he does have some advice for residents.
Keep your sandbags at least through end of May. We're not out of the storm season yet.
Now, we also spoke to a representative from the Washoe County Health District who says they have been and will continue to test the safety of that water. Covering the story, Elizabeth Olveda, Channel 2 News.
All right, Liz, thank you for that. And you can keep track of the weather wherever you are with our free Channel 2 News weather app. Yeah, the new version of the app gives you a timeline of the weather in our area that you can actually scroll through. You see it there. It also includes the radar and the 7-day forecast, and you can customize it to where you live. You can download it from the Google Play or the Apple Store.
In Fire Watch now, firefighters in Douglas County were called out to 3 small spot fires overnight. They broke out between Johnson Lane and Airport Road around 8 o'clock. And they were out within an hour. But firefighters say now is the time to prepare against cheatgrass. They expect more weed growth this year because of the wet winter we had. They recommend spraying a mixture of weed killer and on the weeds, obviously, and treat them near the roads in certain areas.
Roadsides are a natural area for cheatgrass to form. And if you live in a more rural area without sidewalks, it's a good idea to go treat out to the edge of your road to protect your home.
Yeah, and that mixture with weed killer and pre-emergent, you can use that to be proactive, obviously. Sheriff's deputies are investigating the incident as a possible arson case. If you have information that can help authorities, call Douglas County Sheriff's Office at 775-782-9900.
Well, turning to Crime Beat now, tonight we have an update on the investigation into car and mail burglaries in Washoe County. Washoe County deputies say that this woman, Charlotte Hodges of Sparks, was arrested back on February 16th and is charged with burglary and attempted burglary. Here she is, surveillance video taken of her outside of a home in South Reno. Deputies say that it shows Hodges trying to actually break into that vehicle. And investigators say that she's also a suspect in a number of burglaries in Truckee, Carson City, and Douglas County. Investigators are also looking for 29-year-old Rochelle Irwin of Reno. She is 5'7", 130 pounds, brown hair, and brown eyes. So if you know where she might be, you can call or text Secret Witness. And the Nevada Department of Corrections has recaptured a minimum security inmate who walked away from Stewart Conservation Camp yesterday. 49-year-old Martin Joseph taken into custody this afternoon after allegedly stealing a Carson City water truck and then crashing it into another vehicle and then running away on foot. He was taken into custody in the limousine court in Genoa.
In Conzo now, today NDOT announced lane closures for US 50 this week in connection with the future Carson City Freeway project. Beginning Friday, 50 will be reduced to 1 lane in both directions and shifted slightly to the south. Also, that sweeping right turn from southbound Carson Street to westbound 50 will be removed, but drivers will still be able to turn while stopping at that light.
That's actually part of some of the last phases of our construction of the last leg of the Carson City Freeway.
Now that traffic configuration should be in place until early May.
Still to come on Channel 2 News at 6:30, the Nevada legislature is looking at options to abolish the death penalty. Hear from both sides of this controversial argument after the break.
But first, would you say Nevada is a healthier state than the rest of the country? I'm Ariana Bennett. I'll have the answer right after the break.
You're watching Channel 2 News at 6:30 with Kristen Remington, Landon Miller, and Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast.
Washoe County gets a high ranking when it comes to health, according to new numbers released just today. When it comes to overall health, though, Washoe County ranks at the top statewide.
Yeah, that's good. But there are some economic changes in our area that could actually hurt those rankings. Ariana Bennett joins us now live in the newsroom with a closer look at that. All right.
Well, the study we're talking about is an annual look at the factors that influence health in Nevada, from income and education to smoking and access to clinical care. Washoe County ranks 4th in the state in length and quality of life, and it ranks 3rd in the factors that contribute to that. And that's about where we've been for the last few years. Health experts say the numbers have been stable. They went over the data with public officials at the Washoe County Commission this morning.
In many instances, other counties can learn from what's working in Washoe County. We can learn from what's happening in Carson and Douglas and other communities in the state.
Statewide, Nevada fares pretty well compared to the national numbers. Nevada's obesity rate is about 4% lower than the country overall. In general, Nevadans are more active and have way more access to exercise opportunities. However, Nevada's smoking rate is about 1% higher than the national average, and we also have about 3% more people without insurance. The ratio of patients to healthcare providers, though, is better in Nevada. But one area that's particularly troubling is the rising cost of housing here. Packham says that if incomes don't rise and housing costs do, that can hurt people's health.
If rent and mortgage payments are taking a bigger bite out of paychecks, that's income that can't be spent on other areas that we again know are conducive to health and well-being, whether it's quality food, whether it's health care.
Now, the whole report is available online. If you'd like to take a look at that, you can just head to KTVN.com and click on the news links button. Covering the story live in the newsroom, Ariana Bennett, Channel 2 News.
All right, Ari, thank you. And turning to the legislature now, lawmakers are considering abolishing the death penalty here in the Silver State. Supporters of Assembly Bill 237 say the system is broken and too expensive. Opponents, including Washoe County District Attorney Chris Hicks, supports reform but says you can't put a price on justice. Family members of murder victims spoke at today's Assembly Judiciary hearing, most opposing abolishing the death penalty, but some are for it.
And I got up and I said, restitution? Is killing somebody going to bring my family back, bring my son back? No.
We finally received justice for her life.
You cannot put a price on the lives lost.
I don't have the privilege of having her live out the rest of her life.
We'll have more from both sides of this argument coming up tonight at 7 o'clock.
And tonight we have an update on a bill that would have limited the ability of law enforcement and government agencies from enforcing immigration laws in Nevada. Senate Bill 223 was sponsored by Senator Ivana Cancela, who says that while the sponsors of the bill aren't, quote, giving up, the bill is not moving forward in its current form. She went on to say in a statement, quote, what was a moderate bill to protect local law enforcement from doing federal immigration work became inundated with misinformation and politicized with fear, end quote. Now, in another statement, Senate Republican leader Michael Roberson called this bill stalling a, quote, victory. And please stay with Channel 2 News on the air, online, and on our mobile apps for continuing coverage of the 2017 legislative session.
Well, as we look forward to another storm coming through the area here, is it going to stick around for long? We'll tell you about that coming up right after this.
Plus, a duo in town has worked more than 2 decades in the Pilates industry, and they've used their experience to design a method sure to make you sweat. What Series 3 is all about in Health Watch, next. you get when a former dancer teams up with an athlete who studied nutrition and chemistry? You get a scientifically based workout that's easy on your joints, but challenging for your body and mind. It's called Series 3, and I tried out this new take on a decades-old workout method in tonight's Health Watch.
Pump, pump and pump, yes, Use your breath.
Spring is here, and there's a new take on classical Pilates to get your body ready.
We call Series 3 a modern Pilates class, so it's more an energy, a vibe that we've tried to create.
This is Body Harmony, a cool contemporary studio with high-energy music to push you through the Series 3 workout.
You have 10 seconds.
Amanda Udvari and Sarah Egan created this space above the Daily Method, which they opened several years ago. They've worked a combined 25 plus years in the Pilates industry and developed this way of lengthening and toning your muscles while also getting in a good sweat. They do it by sequencing specific movements in a series of 3 to really fatigue a muscle group.
If we worked in these series of 3, we're much more efficient with our time, much more efficient with the energy that we're getting out of the body, and clients saw results faster.
The classes are just 45 minutes.
Zip up through the abdominals as you do that.
But as I found out, that was plenty of time to get your heart rate up on these top-notch reformers. And the versatility allows clients to work on flexibility, strength, and endurance, while also getting the sweat factor.
Lift your right leg up, and then plant it down, kick the carriage out once, pull in, and stand all the way up. So there's your endurance set.
Clients like Monica Moore like the challenge.
It's very fluid and it's very fast paced.
And every class is different, but according to Monica, extremely effective. She started Series 3 after noticing what it's done for others.
They look more lean, they look more toned, and really quickly. And I asked what they were doing, and they said Series 3.
She says Series 3 is not only helping her build muscle, but also confidence. And that's the best part of all.
I'm absolutely hooked.
It's $24 for a Series 3 class. And again, you'll find Body Harmony upstairs of the Daily Method studio on Lakeside. For more information, including a link to sign up, click on the Health Watch icon at KTVN.com.
Now, here's Chief Meteorologist Mike Alger's Pinpoint 2 forecast, broadcast certified by the American Meteorological Society.
As I mentioned, our sky's beginning to break up here very temporarily. The clouds that we saw increase this afternoon was really moisture out ahead of the main storm front. Had a few showers that tried to work their way into here, although most of those kind of passed us by to the north. We do have a very, very quick storm coming in here tonight into early tomorrow here. It should be clearing out for at least the beginning of the weekend, although we may have a very brief reprise of a light storm on Sunday evening. 65 degrees outside right now. We got west winds at 11 miles per hour, 38% humidity. The barometer is steady at 30.12. High today was, well, it was 71 degrees. For some reason, it's not registering there, but it was well above the average here. 34 was our low this morning here, and we've had no precipitation here, just a trace amount in the last 24 hours. Here's what's going on. We've got this low that's dropping down now. It's finally buckled the flow that had been going right up over the top of us. And you can see it's not a huge storm. There's not a lot of moisture in it, but it is pushing on by. There's a lot of cold, unsettled air there back behind. So even though we are predicting some amount of precipitation, I think it's going to be the winds that will be the biggest thing. Again, by early tomorrow morning, a lot of the moisture is already past us here, but we are going to start to see those winds pick up. They'll be probably going right on through Friday. As we head from Friday into Saturday, it actually looks like it's going to warm up. Those winds will drop back down, and we'll be looking at a fairly nice, at least beginning to the weekend, and really throughout most of it. Specifically the winds, watch what happened here. Overnight tonight, you can see the clock here. By early tomorrow, those winds really start going. Now they're going to shift more out of the north by tomorrow at midday, and then they may come down here out of the northeast by late tomorrow night here, but it's going to be a fairly strong wind event right on into Friday itself. How much could we get out of this thing? Well, up in the mountains here, no more than I think a couple of inches of snow, even up on the crests here, and that's about the size of it here. I don't even expect any accumulations at Lake Tahoe. Temperature-wise tomorrow, we'll look at 40s and 50s across the southern part of the state. You come up here to the north, again, upper 40s in the east, low 50s in the north central part, and then maybe low to mid 50s also over here in the western side. Mild night tonight in Reno. Instead of the 30s, we'll probably bottom out somewhere around 46, but we're not going to warm up much. Probably 51 is all the warmer we're going to get as that cold front comes through in the morning. 50 degrees in Carson City with low 40s at Lake Tahoe. Your neighborhood temperatures at this point, again, anywhere from the mid to upper 40s in most of the valley locations with some low 50s when you get way down in the lower elevations. For Lake Tahoe, for tomorrow, we do have snow likely, but probably early in the day, minor accumulations at this point, but a lake wind advisory is in effect. Gusts at 50 at the lake itself and 70 plus on the ridge tops here. For our Reno area here tonight, let's get through these graphics here. I do expect to see a chance of some rain tomorrow. 51 degrees for our highs. All the more we're going to get about a 70% chance of a shower, but minor accumulations of rain or snow. By Friday, we're going to look at 58 degrees here, and then it warms up nicely. The weekend's looking like 67 degrees with sunny skies on Saturday. Just a slight chance late Sunday of a weak system coming through with a sprinkle of rain probably at most. And then we kind of clear it out for the first part of next week when the kids are back in school.
Right on cue.
Always seems to happen that
Or
way,
not.
doesn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, thanks so much.
You bet.
All right, coming up next, she pays her taxes.
I'm a paying citizen. I pay my taxes here.
So what's bugging Lily? Find out as we're getting your 2 cents right after the break. Man, doesn't parking just like suck when you go to a casino? Well, I mean, if you don't have one of those frequent player spots, it's really bad. And Gilbert, he did some research for us.
I went to Grand Sierra last night. I actually counted cardholders' parking spots. I counted 183 spots, and I counted 4 handicap spots. I plan on calling Channel 4 if you guys don't want to do this, Channel 8 or Channel 11, and calling my congressman. It's just the way the high-end casinos treat their handicapped people. It's a disgrace.
Yeah. Thank you for doing all the research and the counting there. Don't call Channel 4. Please don't. Moving on. Jen has an issue right now with some homeless staying in a neighborhood park by her house.
I'd like to know why the homeless are setting up housekeeping in Teglia Park. The park has too many problems.
Yeah, for sure. And this was actually a very popular phone call. A lot of people are feeling the same way. Lily, what's bugging you?
I keep my property clean. Allowing people to camp at the public park is not a good thing. There's no toilet there for the homeless. The police are not doing anything. I've called twice, and they're telling me to take pictures and go in front of the console. Excuse me, I'm a paying citizen. I pay my taxes here.
And if you would like to give us your 2 cents, you can call our hotline right now at 861-4321. We want to hear your 2 cents literally on anything. Something that's good, that's bad, your 2 cents.
Concerns, yeah. We're getting a wide range of topics, too.
Yeah, we really, really are. And tomorrow we have a couple questions about Arrow Creek Parkway. What's the status of that? Are they going to widen it? And another one about NHP and drones. So that'll be tomorrow night, whether or not that they can use them.
I heard you working the phones, trying to get some answers, too, so that's great.
Yep, first time of the year, working the phones.
Stuff it.
861-4321.